goodness, would you just look at this exquisite pattern? So exotic and so soft as well. You know, this would be a great addition to my winter collection. Maxine, stay still. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is your friendly neighborhood Slytherin Ren. Today I'm going to be testing out and reviewing the MAC and Cruella iconic Disney villain fashionista extraordinaire collection. And you see I had to bring my little special guest on today, the chibi Cruella pillow. She's right here behind me for moral support. I was basically blindsided by this collection. I had no idea that it was coming out. I didn't even know of the new like live action Cruella movie coming out starring Emma Stone, where they're doing kind of an origin story of Cruella as a young woman. Maybe it's because I live in Japan that I just haven't heard anyone here particularly talking about the movie. I mean, I'm sure there must have been like bigger media coverage on it in the States. I do remember, like the only thing I remember is that 1 or 2 years back there was a lot of buzz about the movie getting made in the first place. And then of course the most compelling thing about the story at the time was that Emma Stone's name was attached to the film, where it basically was revealed that she was slated to play the younger version of Cruella. Now I have a bone to pick with Emma Stone that I just need to get off my chest. If you don't want to hear me ramble about that, you can feel free to skip to the makeup portion, which I'll put a timestamp for down below. Yeah, so I think maybe many of my regular viewers, you already kind of have an idea of where I'm gonna go with this. Basically, I was not impressed at all with Emma Stone's decision to play a woman of Asian descent on the film Aloha a couple of years back. Now, I never saw the film. The only thing that I heard about it was that they tried to justify the fact that they cast Emma Stone as the main character. They tried to justify it by saying that the film was based on a true story of someone who is, I think, like half Asian or half Hawaiian. Central conflict in the character's whole like development arc was the fact that she was only half or partially of Asian descent, but on the outside she looked more white than Asian. So that was kind of a huge focus of the film, or like the actual person's story as well, is that she was trying to navigate her native Asian identity while being received as white or white passing based on her appearance. Obviously I don't buy this explanation for 1 second, because you guys are telling me you couldn't find a real actress of partial Asian descent who actually has lived this experience in her real life to play this character. No, you can miss me with that, first of all. Okay, so here's the thing, right? I'm trying not to make this a thesis dissertation. I don't expect people to choose martyrdom over their own livelihood. So it sucks that we live in a world where it's not a given that someone in a privileged position, so in this case an A-list Hollywood actress, would just choose not to take a movie role portraying a minority character on principle. Like, it sucks that this is just not a non-negotiable common sense type of thing. But because we don't live in that ideal world, I don't think it's realistic either to expect people to reject big opportunities that arise out of whatever privilege that they may have over the next person. Because let's be real, we all have privilege in one way or another. And moreover, there are many different types of privilege out there. A lot of it does have to do with appearance, let's be real, like your skin tone, ethnic features. Pretty privilege is a thing. But then there's also other types like financial privilege or access to resources. In a first world country, you would have access to more resources and opportunities than you would if you were in a poorer country, etc. And at the end of the day, we're all just trying to play the cards that we were dealt. Like, for example, you wouldn't expect a tall, thin runway model aspirational to reject a high-profile fashion runway show just because, you know, there's not enough fat representation or acceptance in the high fashion world. It would be badass if all the skinny models decided to band together one day and stand in solidarity with the plus-sized models, but that's just not reality. And no one's gonna halt their own ambitions and dreams just because they have a better shot inherently at it than the next person. Do you understand what I mean? And I'm not making excuses for the more extreme cases, such as, well, actually I do find a fully white actress agreeing to take on the role of a biracial Asian woman as a pretty extreme and egregious example. I do. Apparently the rest of society doesn't, including actual other Asian people, but whatever. I'm just saying, like, I don't expect people to turn down multi-million-dollar movie deals for the sake of, you know, the honor of a group that they just don't understand the plight of. As sad as that sounds, especially since, you know, it would just go to another equally privileged white actress anyway. Scarlett Johansson, Tilda Swinton. Oh. So why would Emma Stone stop her own bag, right? Anyway, my point is I don't hate Emma Stone. I don't have energy to expend on hating A-list actresses that I can't escape anyway. Like, she's not going anywhere. She's only going to continue to pop up everywhere, especially with this new movie coming out. So why bother, right? But I actually personally think that Emma Stone is pretty likable, all things considered. Out of the millennial Emmas, the other one being Emma Watson, which I'm sorry if you're an Emma Watson fan, but she makes me eye roll so hard. I am not going to get into that today. But yeah, like for me, Emma Stone is the lesser evil of the two Emmas, for sure. I guess technically now she would be the more evil of the two, since she's playing Cruella de Vil. Which, by the way, the trailer for the movie looks fantastic. Like, the acting looks phenomenal, you know? The dark, twisted vibes altogether of the movie, it's right up my alley. And the way that Emma Stone delivers this one line, there's this one scene where she just says, "I'm Cruella." To me, her deliverance of that line was just chef's kiss. But see, this is the thing. I want to be her fan, but I just cannot overlook what she did with regards to the Aloha fiasco. She could have simply apologized for doing the Aloha movie, chalked it up to ignorance, and kept it pushing, right? But instead she did this little stunt at the Golden Globes one year where she basically apologized for playing an Asian woman, but it came across as very much a joke, like not taking it seriously. It did not come off as malicious, I will say that. And I'm not gonna edit in the clip here, you can search for it if you want to watch it, but yeah, I genuinely don't think that she was looking to ridicule or look down on Asian people in that moment in any way, but it bothers me how she made a show of saying "I'm sorry" in this really calculated, almost coquettish way that was clearly designed to make people feel like, oh, look, it's Emma Stone, she's so adorable, how could you ever stay mad at her? And then to add insult to injury, the camera pans over to Sandra Oh, who was in the audience just giving her this like compassionate, you know, mom reaction, like, oh, it's okay, everyone makes mistakes. That was the type of facial expression she was making. If that all was planned and Sandra Oh was in on it, which I suspect it was because I don't believe for a second that any moment on any of these reality or awards shows are spontaneous. Even if it wasn't planned though, I was actually pretty disappointed in Sandra Oh as well in that moment because she had to have known that her co-signing of Emma's apology was basically signaling on behalf of all Asians to all the white people watching that it was no big deal that this white woman decided to play an Asian character. Like, we were all over the Aloha thing, which I'm not. I don't know about you, but I am not here to play anybody's compassionate Asian mom unless you count Maxine. No, I'm not the mother, I'm not the babysitter. But I don't even want to come down too hard on Sandra Oh in this instance because this just illustrates how little say and power Asian Americans still have in the entertainment industry. The fact that someone on the level of Sandra Oh, who is a household name, mind you, the fact that she still feels like she needs to play along to, you know, pander to and appease the white powers that be in Hollywood, it just shows what a long way we still have to go in terms of Asian representation in media. I almost forgot to, okay, let's not forget, lest we forget, Emma Stone was also involved in that movie, The Help, a while back. Do you remember that? Yeah, that was also a very problematic story. Didn't Octavia Spencer, who plays one of the maids in that movie, come out recently saying that she ultimately regrets taking part in that project because it grossly misrepresents and trivializes the state of race relations between black and white people in the 1960s. So that's two projects on Miss Stone's track record that are very problematic with regards to the two minority groups that those films center around. If anything, she contributed to even more misrepresentation and misinformation about the plight of black people and Asian people, two groups that continue to be discriminated against and consistently disenfranchised in American and Western society at large. So I'm gonna need Miss Stone to explain herself before we can proceed any further. As likable as I find her personality to be, like, I'm sure she's a lovely, sweet person, but it's like, girl, I don't care if you like K-pop, you need to explain yourself. Until she actually truly apologizes and understands, or like demonstrates understanding of why the past movies that she chose to partake in were so problematic and damaging to the communities that they claim to represent. I can't fuck with her like that. I just can't, and I won't. I will not. And you know what? It's probably not gonna happen because it's already been swept under the rug. So unfortunately, it looks like I am going to have to forever side-eye Emma Stone for aforementioned reasons. It is what it is. Anyway, the Cruella movie does look like it's gonna be some jolly good fun. I'll probably watch it, you know, maybe not in theaters, but I'll get some coworkers Disney Plus subscription or something and find out a way to watch it. On that note, why don't we turn to a lighter topic and get into this makeup application, shall we? Okay, so we're starting off with the small eyeshadow 8-pan palette, and the name for this palette is Cruella to be kind. Love that. There's a lot of those kind of fun play on words throughout this entire collection with the naming of the shades, so I really appreciate that. This is what it looks like on the inside. They have the shade names written on this little plastic insert, which I personally find really annoying. I feel like most people would prefer the shade names to be just printed directly on the palette. Whatever, whether we like it or not, that's a pretty standard thing for most eyeshadow palettes, so I'm not going to deduct points for that or anything. Yeah, so here's the palette. It is yet to be touched or swatched. You may have noticed in the promo pictures, this is actually magnetic and you can separate it into 4 different little tiny duos. So I thought that was a super neat and cool concept. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. I mean, we've seen magnetic attachable compacts in makeup before, but I just thought that this was like a really creative way to kind of give you different options for how you want to travel with this. Actually, I wouldn't have minded personally if they decided to just ditch the whole magnetic separating concept and just made it a classic rectangular palette, because it does make it like kind of just ever so slightly inconvenient when you're trying to work with this as any old regular palette, because you do have to kind of be conscious and careful not to break it apart when you're working with it, which is just slightly annoying in my opinion. But at the end of the day, it's not a big deal because the magnets are actually pretty strong and sturdy, and it still opens and closes pretty smoothly despite the fact that it's actually 4 separate little mini palettes. So other than that, it's a pretty standard cardboard material magnetic closure palette. There's no mirror inside, but they do have this really great retro 60s style artwork that I absolutely love, with a lot of these little cute images like the stiletto heels and the lipstick that just evoke Cruella. The eyeshadow pans themselves are absolutely tiny, as you can probably see in relation to my hands here. That's something that I personally don't mind too much, because I would rather have smaller pan sizes, especially for a product that takes as long a time to use up as eyeshadow. In fact, I doubt that I'm ever going to finish or even hit pan on any of these shadows here, so for me that's not a huge deal. But again, just considering the very high price point of these high-end collaborations, I do think it bears mentioning that the pans are teeny tiny. Look at that. I feel like for some reason everything that's coming out in makeup these days is tiny. Like even Western brands, so MAC is a Western brand, right? Usually you would expect a bigger size from them. And then also the Shuamura and Sadaharu Aoki collection that I just previously reviewed on my channel. Even though that is a Japanese brand, I feel like Shuamura is one that has actually been targeted towards overseas customers for a long time. They put a lot of effort into their marketing campaigns and stuff to make their products appealing to the international market. So even though they're a Japanese brand, it did kind of make me pause a little bit when I saw how small the Sadaharu Aoki palette is. And then now we have MAC and their teeny tiny Cruella palette. But with that being said, I do have to say that I absolutely love the color story in here. It seriously looks exactly like what I would choose if I was making a Cruella palette. It's just the perfect collection of bold and neutral contrasting colors. Like on first glance, it just looks like a bunch of random colors that have nothing in common, but I have faith that this is all going to come together beautifully, especially considering Cruella de Vil's signature style. I mean, hello, she's all about the white and black, sometimes with a pop of, you know, bright red, extreme contrast type of fashion. So I think in that respect, they stayed really true to her character. Okay, without further ado, let's just get on with the application, or at least let me start applying things to my eyes as I talk. So I'm priming my lids with my Anastasia eye primer as always. I am sweating like a pig. It's been so hot and humid all of a sudden in Tokyo these past few days. I just can't deal with it. I feel like my apartment is in a relatively shady area, so I don't get like the brunt of the heat from the sun, but I'm sitting in front of a window right now because I'm trying to catch the glow from that golden hour light for this video, and yeah, I feel like it's not even that hot enough for me to be sweating this much, but I guess just the whole talking and anticipation of putting this amazing makeup on my face.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Has me hot and bothered or something. I don't know. Alright, so basically what I'm going to do is, I don't have any clear-cut plan, but I want to definitely feature this cobalt blue shade down here. This is called, this is so annoying, I have to check the plastic. Chillin' Like a Villain. I want to use Chillin' Like a Villain and then maybe do kind of like a halo eye with this and maybe some silver and white on the center, and then like maybe we'll see how it looks, how everything balances out in the end. But if I can get away with it, I want to use this red, which is called Crew Love. I love that name, oh my god. Yeah, so I want to try and see if I can use Crew Love as almost like a really exaggerated, sharp, you know, dagger-like liner. Anyway, let me just get started. So I'm gonna use these two shades first to lay on the top half of my lid as a transition color. Okay, you know what? I should use the proper Cruella de Vil brush. This is the blending brush in 217S. To be honest, I really don't want to open this yet, but I'm well aware it is my duty as a beauty influencer to review the brushes for you as well. So this is just a standard, I don't know, eyeshadow shading brush, and it feels really soft. The brushes are made in China though, so I don't know if that's like disappointing or not to some people. I mean, MAC is sold in China, which makes them not completely cruelty-free, which is ironic considering that this is a collection for a villain that kills and skins Dalmatian puppies for their fur to use as a fur coat. Well, that shade blended out like a dream. It's just the perfect peachy, nudie color. I love that. It's just like the perfect peachy, nudie matte color. Not streaky or patchy at all. Okay, next we're just going to add a little bit of dimension with that purplish neutral shade called Need for Tweed. And this is labeled as an S, which I assume stands for shimmer. Ooh, that is smooth. Okay, wait, I should be more careful because I feel like I covered a larger surface area than I intended to. I should have probably used a smaller brush for that one, but that's okay. I'm just gonna go over with Cruella to Be Kind again, the areas that I want to be more neutral and blown out. Although that doesn't look too bad, huh? Even though I applied a lot. Like, it's a very natural looking, shadowy type of shade. This is actually a really neutral looking eyeshadow look for every day, don't you think? Like, if I just left it like this. Today, we're not stopping there. We're gonna add some drama and flair with Chillin' Like a Villain. And yeah, let me just get this on a smaller detail brush so that I can really control the edges of my halo. This brush sucks. There we go, I think this one's better. Although this shade in particular is quite patchy, I will say. Although not to the point where I'm like particularly bothered or perplexed. Okay, so for the center of my lids, I'm going to lay down some of this matte white shade called Gesso. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know what that means. Gesso, G-E-S-S-O. I'm gonna lay down some white. And then I'm gonna take my finger and layer some of this silver on top of that. This one is called Devillionaire, and we're gonna layer that on top. Ooh, this is Very, very powdery. Okay, I might have been a little too overzealous there. I think I picked up more than I needed. This is labeled F, which I guess stands for foiled, but it's like not going on at all the way I expected it to. Yeah, it's not like that blinding, opaque aluminum foil type of silver that you would expect. It's more of like a sheer, shimmery glitter dust. To be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of. I think it actually looks good with this overall look, but as far as the formula type itself goes, I'm not really sure like what the purpose is of this. I'm actually gonna go clean my under eyes and then I'll be back to finish things up. Alright, so now let me attempt to do my little dramatic glittery red eyeliner. Have the eyeliner just shoot out like a dagger, like a stiletto heel, if you will. See, what I was saying before about this palette, I have a tendency to hold my palettes on the edge like this, but when I'm holding it on like the left side and I'm dipping into this shade all the way on the right, the pressure will cause it to like break. Here we go. Whoa, look at that red. And there's fallout again. That is pretty wicked looking, if I may say so myself. So now I'm going to just finish up with my RMK liquid eyeliner, and then we can go in with the lashes from this collection, which I was on the fence about picking up, mostly because of the price factor. I thought that 2,000 yen was just a little too steep for one singular pair of eyelashes, even though it's par for the course pricing for, you know, high-end branded eyelashes. Ultimately, I decided to get them because the style is actually like my favorite type of semi-dramatic but not too out there, wispy sort of style. So I'm excited to try those on after I get this eyeliner on. I had to go charge my camera battery, so I just went ahead and put on the eyelashes off camera. I'll insert a picture of what they look like close up. So the band is clear and pretty flexible, which is really, really impressive. I really love these lashes. These are kind of like a more amped up version of my regular fluffy eyelashes, but it's still in that same like natural-ish style that I prefer. No two lashes are quite the same length. That's what I feel like looks most flattering on my eye, and I think on most smaller or more daintier looking Asian eyes. So I am actually going through the great false eyelash famine of 2021 in the Ren household.
Oh my god, I'm gonna cry! My god, when there's people that are dying.
My usual style that I get from Daiso, like the ones that I wear every day, have been sold out for months by now. This is literally the longest that I think I've ever experienced my local Daiso go without those lashes. Usually they come back in stock every couple of weeks and then I just buy out like the entire row, but I actually ran out of my ridiculously huge stock a while ago and I have yet to come across a single pair in that particular style that I like. So I was actually really anxious to see how these Cruella lashes were going to look on me, and it turns out, like I suspected, I really like them. So I'm contemplating buying a few more backups of these actually, since they are super expensive and marked up for being MAC eyelashes. I'm going to do my very best to make these last as long as possible. I'm thinking if I can get this single pair of eyelashes to last me 3 weeks, I'm gonna aim for a month, that would just be amazing. But yeah, my point is, if you have like smaller or hooded eyelids or a half crease like me, I would definitely recommend these lashes, or try to find a style similar to these at a lower price point if you can. I'm surprised I didn't even have to trim these to make them fit my eyes. Definitely A+++ on the lashes. Alright, let's get to the cheek compact. So this is the powder blush duo. I can't get over this packaging. It's so simple, yet so like exactly what I was missing from my collection, you know? I'm really a fan of this classic, super shiny plastic, you know, smooth plastic packaging. And if you look closely, the Cruella and MAC logos are in kind of like a metallic red. So it just feels really luxe overall. I love how this color combo is not what would come to mind first when you think of a Cruella de Vil inspired blush. Like, I would have expected something more red and bold, but I'm really glad that they went with more natural, flushed, you know, wearable tones. So I'm taking the limited edition Cruella blush brush in 129S, again with the beautiful black shiny packaging and red metallic accents, as well as of course the black and white bristles. This one is super soft as well. I normally like my blush brushes to be a little more stubbier. When I first saw this, I thought maybe I wouldn't like it that much because the bristles are a little longer than I typically prefer. But now that I'm feeling it in person, it actually has a really good density to it, so I don't mind the length now. Because like if it's long and flimsy, I feel like that can make your application prone to patchiness. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have that problem with this brush. Also, the fact that it's a little bit longer and skinnier means that it can also double as a contour brush. So let me dip into this bright pink. Sorry, I'm using this really tiny little clip-on iPhone or smartphone ring light, and I feel like for some reason it's messing up with the focus of my camera. Wow, that's like a Barbie pink almost. Okay, I think I put on too much. Panic. Panic blending right here. Oh my god. Okay, I think I put on a little bit too much blush on this side. It's okay because we're doing makeup for the camera today. Top everything off with a little bit of this gold here. It has like a beautiful satin gold sheen. I don't know if you can see that because my lighting is going crazy, and I do apologize. Why do I feel like the same truck has been driving around my building for the past hour? Like, damn, I guess nobody wants me to be great today. Not my ring light, not the truck drivers outside. Okay, yeah, but anyway, this is what they look like on the back of my hand. I really do love this combo. I think it's so cute. It actually goes well with the eye look, which is surprising to me, but I also feel like it would match everyday neutral peachy type of eyeshadow as well, so that is excellent. Now let's finally finish up with some of the lip products. So I basically just picked up the neutral shade, one of each of the bullet lipstick and the liquid lipstick. As much as I think the reds in this collection actually look gorgeous, I just know that it's not something that I can get a lot of use out of on a daily basis, so I stuck with the neutrals. So first we have a matte lipstick in Sweet and Vicious. I'm gonna put this on the center of my lips as my main lip color, and then I'm gonna go around the edges with the liquid formula because that one is a little bit more of a darker cool tone shade. Okay, then we're going in with the Retro Matte liquid lip color in Queen of Mean. Perfect name and perfect packaging. Oh, I can't get over it. You can think what you want about Cruella, but you can't deny that that woman is a fashion icon. So both of these have that classic MAC vanilla lipstick scent, which you know I'm not the biggest fan of, but for some reason I feel like it's a little more light this time around, so it's not as bad as some of their lipsticks that I've tried in the past. Or it could just be my imagination, I don't know, maybe I just got used to the scent. I mean, I do feel like I've accumulated an obscene amount of MAC makeup over the past year in particular for no apparent reason other than the fact that I'm just simply a limited edition packaging whore. I'm not even one of those people that was a die-hard fan of MAC cosmetics back in the day like that, but anyway, I just want to add some of this gold highlight to my under eye area. And thank goodness the lighting situation seems to have stabilized a little bit, so I can actually show you up close. Look at my finished look. Yay! Oh yeah, and speaking of scents, this blush compact has like the most amazing light figgy scent. This fragrance I really like. Not so much the vanilla, but whatever they put in the blush formula, I am totally down for. And I love this compact so much. Oh my goodness. Especially just the size factor too, like being in Japan. You don't come across any Japanese brands really that have blush compacts of this size. This is definitely going to be a favorite moving forward. Alright, so there you have it. What did you guys think of the MAC and Cruella 2021 makeup collaboration? I feel like I've been filming for more than 24 hours. I don't even know how this happened, but yeah, I'm just gonna keep my little wrap up very, very brief. I adored this entire collection. This was definitely like the sleeper hit of 2021. In fact, I didn't even know that this collection was gonna be a thing until like literally 48 hours before it was released. As much as my wallet was not prepared to take this hit, I'm so glad that I did end up hearing about this through the grapevine. I might even have to go ahead and say that I like this one better than the Shuemura and Sadaharu Aoki collection that I just reviewed. That one is beautiful, don't get me wrong. I'm sorry, I feel bad because I know that it's not really like Shuamura and MAC. They are two completely different brands with different philosophies and aesthetics and everything, so it's not really fair to compare them. I just can't help it though, because Shuamura was the last big collection that I reviewed on my channel. This one by far though. This one, however, the Cruella and MAC collaboration, it just feels like every single item, every single shade was made for me. I feel so at home in this look, even though obviously this is like a louder, more fun eyeshadow than I would typically wear on a daily basis. Like, I'm definitely not wearing blue and red eyeshadow to my office job every day, right? But for some reason, like, I just feel so at home in this look. This is a look that I'm actually excited to wear over and over again. I don't know what it is. It probably has to do with the undertones and the fact that like maybe it also matches most of my clothes and my fashion sensibility. It's funny because when I was like looking through my closet trying to pick out an outfit that I felt like would be Cruella-esque enough for this video, I realized very quickly that almost everything in my wardrobe pretty much looks like it could have belonged to Cruella. Damn, why am I so predictable? I don't think I'm 100% like Cruella herself. I'm definitely on her side, but if I could place myself into her universe, I would definitely be like maybe her kawaii younger sister who's into Japanese culture and stuff. That would be me. Yeah, I love everything in this collection, from the packaging to the formulas. I think the finishes and the shades are all really beautiful. The only thing I will say though is that I think if you're thinking about like the blush compact or any of the lipsticks, I mean, most people, if you're into the online beauty community, have had some sort of experience with MAC, you know, face powders and lip products before in the past. So this is pretty, like, everything in this collection is par for the course with their normal quality, which I think is very high for those items. I will have to say though, as much as I personally did really love the eyeshadow palette, there is definitely nothing revolutionary about these eyeshadows in particular. I had a fine time working with them, blending them together and all of that, but at the end of the day, they are simply just your run-of-the-mill, basic, powdery eyeshadow formulas. You know, it's powdery, there's kick up, it's decently pigmented but not the most pigmented. This shade in particular, De Billionaire, I did want to mention this silver shade that I used as a topper for the center of my lid today. It did end up growing on me. Like, I enjoy how it pulled the look together in the end, but this is one of their new foiled formula shadows or whatever it's called. I am not super impressed with this formula because it's basically just like really, really finely milled small glitter particles that are kind of like the most basic glittery shadow you could ever imagine. Like, there was no wow factor about it. It kind of reminds me of just cheap glitter that you buy for an office Christmas party decoration, something like that. While I did grow to like it, after featuring it in today's look, I do have to say that it doesn't have the best staying powder. Like, it wore off pretty quickly. I mean, I've been filming forever, but I found myself having to reapply this glitter at least 3 times throughout the day because it would just keep fading away off of my lids really quickly. So that's the only like major drawback I can think of, because if I wanted to wear this shade at a party or something, I would feel not confident that my glitter was going to stay on the whole night. But then again, you can break the palette apart and just bring the little piece with the silver shade in it. So you could just bring whatever shade that you're worried about for touch-ups if you don't mind touching up your makeup. And I guess I'm one of those people where I really don't mind, especially when it comes to lip products. I will reapply a lip gloss or a lipstick 500 times if I have to. It's almost like a fun distraction for me throughout the day. It couldn't hurt to carry that habit over into eyeshadows as well when needed. So yeah, there's probably a ton more things that I could say, but I'm going to end it right here because I need to edit this video, get it uploaded, get some rest, you know, take care of my mental, which I hope that you guys are all doing as well. Thank you once again so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a comment down below if you feel so inclined, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!